a journey into unexpected desires, vulnerability, and the tender unraveling of loneliness that turns into something completely unanticipated. How could I have possibly known that the young man who simply helped me set up a coffee maker would step into my life so fully, irreversibly? I had left my toys and some very personal clothing scattered on the couch. To me it was normal, a quiet comfort in my solitude. But for him, those small glimpses of my private world were sparks igniting a fire neither of us saw coming. After that day, everything changed. I was alone, truly alone. But when I opened my door to him, the stranger from the store, I realized I wouldn't be that way anymore. Let me take you back to the very beginning. I am 60 years old, divorced for 15 years, my life settled into a routine of quiet independence, the kind where your own company is both a comfort and a cage. I had learned to live with the silence that fills the spaces between walls when no one else occupies them. And yes, I had my private moments, my personal treasures, my secret comforts, little things that helped me feel alive. When loneliness crept in, two close items used often without a second thought, so often, in fact, that I didn't even realize, when I left them in plain view that morning, was like any other. I planned to buy a coffee maker, a simple, mundane. Little did I know that this small errand would lead to the most extraordinary day I had lived in. Years Jake was 23, full of warmth, energy, and that youthful curiosity that brightened 7. The dullest day when he offered to help me carry the box inside. I found myself opening my door wider than I ever expected the moment he stepped inside. I felt a flicker of something unfamiliar, a current running just beneath the surface, waiting to pull. Us both and Jake's eyes drifted across the room with a quiet interest. And then they landed on my toys, and the personal pieces of clothing I'd forgotten to put away, my silent confession of the life I kept hidden tome. They were just everyday objects, but a Jake. They were an invitation, a mystery he wanted to understand. "You live alone, don't you?" he asked softly, a playful smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. My face flushed, heat rushing through me like a sudden storm. I was caught off guard, vulnerable in a way. I hadn't expected these things. These parts of me were never meant for anyone else's. My loneliness was my own private, shielded something I protected fiercely. "Jake, please pretend you didn't see anything," I whispered, voice trembling, with a mix of embarrassment and fear. He smiled, unbothered. "I can't unsee that, and honestly they're hard to miss." "Kinda like you," he said, with a light-hearted wink. That simple exchanges parked something between us. An electric tension, a silent connection that grew stronger with every word. Every glance, Jake wasn't just a young man, helping me with an appliance anymore. He was a presence, warm, inviting, and impossibly magnetic. I could feel it in his gaze, steady and intense, as if he was looking right through me, seeing all the cracks and hopes. I tried to hide our eyes, locked for a moment that stretched, longer than it should have. Time seemed to slow, the room shrinking until it was just the two of us. "I noticed it the first time you came to get the coffee maker," Jake said, voice low and charged with something unsaid. "There was this spark in your eyes, something I've never felt before." I hesitated. What could I say? My feelings were a mess, but assisting you, it felt impossible. "You did the same for me," he replied, with a smile that melted my resolve. There was a quiet pause, and I knew I needed to change out of the clothes that clung uncomfortably to me all day, a way to ease the tension building in the room. "I'll be right back," I said softly, and retreated upstairs. I slipped into a sleek figure-hugging dress, the kind that felt like a secret promise to myself. I touched up my makeup lightly, then returned to find Jake standing near the living room door, eyes tracing every move. The air between us was thick with unspoken invitation. I approached him with a playful grin. "Jake, are you single, got a girlfriend, or do you spend your nights alone?" His eyes sparked with shy curiosity. "If you finish setting up the coffee maker," I teased, How about we make some coffee and you tell me all about yourself? As he sat shifting awkwardly in the chair, I pulled my own close beside his. Our proximity was electric. The conversation flowed easily, each word pulling us closer. How old are you? He asked suddenly, voice a mix of surprise and admiration. 60, I answered, with a sly smile, enjoying the look of disbelief on his face. You look so young and beautiful, he said, quietly. Eyes locked on mine. His honesty disarmed me. I could feel the heat of his gaze, the tenderness behind his words, and when he admitted, he was alone. The kind of loneliness I understood deeply, I knew. This night would not end with just coffee. I took a deep breath, steadying the swirl of emotions inside me. This isn't how tonight's going to end. I said firmly. I led him to the bedroom where hesitation mixed with anticipation on his face. Are you ready? I asked softly. Confidence, steadier than ever. What happened next was a dance of new beginnings, a meeting of youthful energy and seasoned grace, vulnerability, and desire, uncertainty, and passion, with every gentle touch, every whispered word, every shy glance. We crossed lines neither of us expected to cross. That night, loneliness faded away in Jake's arms. I found warmth, connection, and a spark of something extraordinary.